Good evening and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. We've titled this programme tonight, No Bones About It. So not so long ago, being anything over a size 12 was a big no-no, and many women were made to feel that there was something wrong with them and that they were somehow inferior to their slimmer counterparts. But things have been changing, with many women now everywhere celebrating their curvy and fuller figure. But if you're still not feeling too confident about your shape, stay tuned, because I'm sure that by the end of the show, you're going to feel gorgeous. Now, we've got a packed show tonight, and my guests include Denise Mitch of Mitch Clothing, a store that caters for the curvier ladies, and Rivki Baum from Slink, a plus-size fashion magazine. They'll both be giving some fashion and styling tips to make the most of your body and looks. And we will show you a special makeover done for two beautiful curvy ladies. That's later on in the show. We also have fitness expert Jane Rafter and fitness and nutritional expert Ben Wilson, and they'll be on hand to give advice on getting more toned and healthy. They're just over there waving at me from from over there. So if you are over a size 14, what do you think about your body? Do you feel confident about your curves, or are you trying to lose some weight? So I'd like to hear from you, or my lovely viewers. So you can tweet Chrissy B Show or Facebook The Chrissy B Show, and you can also call if you want, 020 7686 6300. And don't forget, if you want more information about this programme, you can visit chrissybshow.tv. So let's introduce our first set of guests, and that's Rivki from Slink Magazine and Mitch from Mitch Clothing. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
I'm really looking forward to the show today, because I'm sure you've got lots to tell us, lots of advice for the viewers out there.
Yeah, hopefully.
So first, let's start with you, Rivki. Tell us about the magazine and how it all started.
Well, Slink Magazine started because I really felt there was such a gap in the market for a magazine that showed women in a completely different way. We're obviously all used to seeing sort of Vogue magazine and Elle and all those, you know, gorgeous glossies that only use models that are a size sort of 6, 8.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if we look at the way the market's changed and the way women's bodies have changed, there is that real gap in the market for a publication that shows sort of women that are a size 14, 16, 18.
Yeah.
In, you know, fashionable clothing and just, you know, taking a different angle on it.
Now, plus size clothing, you obviously do some features and stuff on that. So where do you get the inspiration for the kinds of clothes and stuff that you
I think for me, I came from a fashion background, you know, I'm a freelance stylist, so it was really important for me to keep that fashion element. So I look at the trends, I go to Fashion Week, I see what's coming up, and then we work with plus size brands and plus size stores like Mitch to sort of show what clothes are out there and how women can be on trend even though they're not a sort of size 6 to 12, even though they're a size 14 to 32, they can still actually, you know, do those trendy looks.
Yeah. Now, I was watching the video earlier of the makeover, which we're going to see after the break, and Mitch, the clothes that I saw there were really lovely.
Thank you very much.
Your store. So tell us about your store as well.
I opened Mitch Clothing sort of really from February, March this year, so it's not a very long time so far. Perhaps not opened in the right time of the economic crisis or whatever's going on at the moment.
Well, good on you anyway for doing that.
Madness or whatever. But it's going quite well. I've got a lot of lovely regular customers, all very different types of women. Some, I know what the programme is about, some who want to lose weight, and quite frankly, probably 50% are very happy with the way they are. Yes.
Yeah,
what I am surprised is that the amount of 24s, 26 and 28s I am actually selling to, and I haven't got quite enough. I've got enough at the moment, but you know, I will be and have bought for spring summer more of the larger sizes, because I certainly need those sizes. My average size is about a 22 actually, so most of the makes do go up to a 22, but probably half my makes don't, so there's a lacking in really nice clothing for the larger woman.
Now, I was asking you earlier actually, because I said to you, because I said to I couldn't help noticing that you're not a plus size yourself. So why are you catering for the larger woman? And you told me what size?
I am a size 16.
And I was like, I couldn't believe it. Can you just stand up? Can we just take a look? Because like I can't see it. I cannot see like you being a size 16
but I am
at all.
size 16.
I honestly thought you were about a size 12.
Fairly in proportion, which does help if you are a larger person, but I am a size 16. At my thinnest, I was a 14. Right. But I was still considered very skinny then. But I was a 14, but I am a 16 now, a true 16.
Yeah. And do you think you can take a seat. Do you think that's because of the way you dress, maybe that you doesn't show?
Absolutely, yes. And depending what you wear. I mean, I don't wear short sleeves anymore. That's an age thing as much as anything else. I try always to wear 7/8 or 3/4 sleeve, or a very long sleeve, which elongates your arm anyway, makes you look much slimmer. And depending on, I mean, tunics are very much in fashion at the moment, thank goodness, because there have been so many short tops for so long, and a longer one is much nicer for larger ladies, because they make the thick tights and boots for the winter, or like trousers like myself, like I'm wearing now. And it's, but what I would like to say is that, you know, when people come into the shop, that they wish sometimes they would take more of our advice, because that's what, I know I can dress them much better. Some people are a little bit scared. I mean, like our two ladies we had, you know, Lindsay thought that she'd never be able to wear stripes, but
she looked amazing. You're going to have to see this after the break, but she looked amazing.
Absolutely fabulous. She couldn't believe it. But it was the right stripe. And you'll agree with that, Rivki. And she couldn't believe. I mean, we tried to get things for her to look really bad, and actually, most of the stuff we put her in, she actually looked gorgeous. So
and she actually looked smaller than what she did when she came into the shop.
But she was sort of 16, 18 on top and a 16 trouser, but she had a bit of a tummy. But I think we managed to disguise it quite well.
I think that comes down a lot to sort of cuts as well. And sort of, you know, if you're... I think the problem a lot of the time with the plus size market is that it's become very saturated with lots of very cheap things, and I think women don't feel they're worth buying themselves. It's, you know, more expensive items or better quality items. And I think what we saw most at Mitch was that because the quality level was higher, therefore the cuts were better, and they were more in proportion. They'd really thought about a fuller figure and how to cut for those shapes.
There were not those kind of clothes. When I was like I think I was a 16 to 18, and I actually really felt miserable because anytime I'd go out shopping, I couldn't find clothes that would look nice. So I ended up getting some really frumpy clothes, and normally like it was all dark colours that I would wear, and I just felt hideous. And it's like I was always sort of trying to go on a diet, and normally like I would try and watch Baywatch on a Saturday, you know, to inspire me while eating a kebab
or barbecue.
Anyway, or depress me. So it was just an awful time. But I think had there been like clothing like this, or a magazine that I could have read, I would have felt a lot happier about myself, because I was actually made to feel like some kind of freak, because I was like, because people at that time, everyone was into their like, you know, everyone has to be a size 10, which is nothing wrong with that if that's your body shape, but it made me feel very inferior and thought, gosh, there's something wrong with me, and I was miserable. I was really miserable.
I think a lot of people that walk around now are feeling sort of quite, I'm not going to say proud if that's the right word, but they're more confident when they walk around as being a larger person.
I think I mean, at Slink magazine, I've definitely found that, you know, we get emails every day from readers, and actually, you know, there have been a few that have actually made me cry, because it's so nice to know that actually, you know, people write in and say, oh, you know, I feel better about myself, I feel more confident, I didn't realise these brands were out there, you know, and I think it is an awareness thing. It's been something that people have made such a secret, and to sort of, you know, keep it and, you know, don't talk about it or anything. So if we can bring it out a bit more and make women feel better.
One thing that's annoying, that I have to say this, because sometimes I walk past a shop and it's like a shop for like bigger ladies, and I look at the clothes and I'm thinking, oh, they don't have that in my size now. I can't go and buy that because the sizes are too big. So it was like the other way around.
Well,
I can't
we do get
clothes.
Smaller people coming in, size 10s and 12s, which actually I think is very complimentary. It means that it's really nice that they would want to wear
some of
the clothes as well, which is what I'm trying to do, you know, to cater for prettier clothes for ladies, you know.
Because you can look amazing still. Yes. Even if, for example, you're not happy with your body shape at that moment, but at least you can still look nice and feel confident about yourself, you know, until you lose weight. But obviously there's some people that are happy with their weight.
Yes, they are.
But we did ask the public as well what they thought about, you know, do they prefer to be slimmer or larger? And here's what they told us.
Hello, Chrissy. We're here on the streets of London to find out from the general public just who they consider more attractive to them. Is it someone who's slim or someone who's plus size? Let's find out. Which would you consider more attractive, slim or plus size?
Slim.
And why is that?
I just think that slim people really look nice in their clothes.
Right.
And I think they have much more confidence. That's why I'm sitting here eating this away from home, because I'm on a diet.
If you're big but you have a nice body, like nice curves, and you're not just fat, I think that's better. I think I'm too skinny personally. I would like to be maybe a size 10, 12 with a bit of curve. I'd like a bit of waist, and
being slim.
Why is that?
Well, I've just lost 20 kilos myself, and so I'm feeling smug.
Well, I can't say being slim because I'm not really slim. Think in between, but honestly, you have to accept yourself for what you are. So, yeah, I would say if you feel comfortable being plus size, why not? But too slim, no. I don't think too slim is attractive for a man. They're all bones.
Well, you know, I have a finer, fuller figure, so plus is definitely on my side.
So do you think someone can be confident?
Absolutely, I'm confident every day.
Thank you very much. And there we have it. Some people think slim is attractive and others think plus size is attractive. What do you think, Chrissy? Back to you in the studio.
Actually, I think it's all about the confidence, isn't it?
It is.
Because I think a person, if they're confident about their body, they immediately become attractive to people, don't they? And attractive to themselves as well, because it's like they're happy with what.
I've met women that are a size 26, but I look at them and I think, wow, do you know what? They look amazing because they just have this sort of glow of confidence about them. And then equally, I've met, you know, girls who are a size 6 who are, you know, much meeker and don't have that confidence. And I see it with models as well, because I work with size 6 models and size 16, 18 models, and you always see the size 16, 18 girls coming in their wet look leggings, all really fitted clothes. They'll get changed in front of you. They're not embarrassed by their bodies, you know, their bodies is what they use to work. Whereas I've also worked with really slim models that are much more self-conscious. Yeah.
Now, I do have to ask this question, because there might be people watching now saying, but isn't, if we're talking about sort of plus size and, like, you know, you should be confident and stuff, are we not promoting bad health in a way? What would you say to that if someone was quite critical about that?
Well, for my customers, a lot of them do go to exercise classes, or they have a private trainer, which is very nice. My customers are from the age of 35, so a lot of them have got children, and they concentrated on their married lives and going out for dinner with business dinners with husbands, etc. And some of them haven't always got time for themselves. I mean, when they start going to the gym, and I've got some that have started when they're sort of 55, 60. You know, they've never really done any exercise before, but they know they want to keep as healthy as possible. But a lot of ladies aren't bothered. They are quite happy with how they are. And they can look very, very lovely. You know, and that gives their confidence. A lot of them, there are no shrinking violets in my shop, let me tell you. None. They're all very confident women. Some want to lose more, some give up and start again. But they are very confident women. They are very, they're more mature women, probably, on average. But they're very nice, and they've all got a story to tell, and we've all lived through sort of married lives and kids and problems, so we have a very good time as well. I think, anyway. Yes.
I think we put too much emphasis on it has to be one or the other. I mean, in Slink, you know, we do healthy eating, we do exercise, but we don't talk about diets, and I think we've got into this really dangerous place where we associate our eating habits with being bad, and we can't look at the positives of our bodies, we can't look at the positives of our food. So actually we never do sort of bikini bodies and diets, because I don't think women want that thrown at them all the time. And I think we were talking about this backstage with Jennifer. It has to be, if you want to lose weight, it has to be something that comes from you, because you really want it, because it is a struggle and it is a hard thing to do. And I think if it's something that people constantly tell you to do, then it's not going to work. And I think you can be bigger and be healthy. You know, it's about making sure you're eating the right things and doing exercise.
Okay, let's take this comment from our caller as well. Good evening.
Hello, my name is Sabrita.
Hello.
Hi. I just want to say my comment about being fat. I used to be a size 18 in the past, and I used to feel very uncomfortable with it. So I then decided to start walking, because I used to drive as well. So I decided to walk instead of driving, which would take me 10 minutes to get to work. Then I decided to walk for 1 hour every day, and then cut off some fat foods like sweets, cake, and I dropped down to size 14, which make me very happy the way I am.
But when you say, you know, you obviously saying you weren't happy with your weight before, but would you actually make an effort with your appearance when you were that size, or did you think, you know, I'm not going to bother, I don't look nice anyway, and I'm not going to try? How were you, like, clothing wise, and how were you like that?
Yeah, I wasn't happy at all. I was like, no, I can't be like, I can't be that I wasn't happy to be the way I was, so I had to do something.
Do you think you would have felt better though if you had maybe some nice clothes to wear that suited your body type?
Yeah.
You would. I think most people would. It's just that they don't know. Like maybe if you. So what was your name again? Sabrisa. So maybe Sabrisa had walked into your store, Mitch, and you'd styled her. She probably wouldn't have felt that badly about her.
No.
Her
And I think
type.
new clothes always make you feel better anyway.
Yeah.
You know, old clothes, get rid of them. You know, as I say, after 2 years, get rid of them.
Yeah.
I should talk. But get rid of them, and you will feel fresher and much better in
And I
yourself
think
wearing new clothes.
women sort of keep, you know, their old clothes and say, oh, I'm going to get back into it, you know, I'll keep it. And do you know what? For some women that works really well as a motivation. But it's, you know, for some women it just becomes that depressive thing where you just keep going over and over it.
Okay. So congratulations on the weight loss, and I'm glad you're happier now with your body type. Thank you very much for your call. Okay, we're going to go to a break now. You're going to stay with us, ladies, aren't you? Because we want to hear much more from you. So after the break, we'll also be joined by Jennifer Yates-Rowe, one of the beautiful ladies who got a makeover from Rivki and Mitch, and she'll give us some feedback on how it all went. So stay tuned. Welcome back, where we are speaking about celebrating curves. So we've actually had a makeover done for two lovely ladies. So let's take a look at this, and then we'll be back talking to our experts as well here on the sofa.
Here I am outside Mitch Clothing, about to go inside for our Size Plus makeover. Let's go inside and meet all the people involved today. Hi Jennifer, hello Lindsay, lovely to meet you. So are you ready for your makeover today? Yes. Okay, let's go meet the team. What they're wearing now, would you say that this is not doing them any justice? Would you say it's not very flattering? What would you say?
I'd say at the moment we've got room for improvement. We're just generally going to look at, you know, apple shapes and pear shapes and different styles that will be more flattering, probably things that you thought you couldn't wear.
Okay, so let's get them into the changing rooms and try on some different styles. What do you think is the most common fashion error that people wear in the larger size? They come in here, is there something that people you find do and it just looks really bad and you want to help them? Or
some ladies still try to find a short top, and if they're wearing trousers, is absolutely not the right thing to do for a lady, because it finishes in all the wrong levels.
So come out, Lindsay.
Lindsay's wearing a gorgeous red dress from Joseph Ribkoff. It's actually a dress that you can wear both ways, so you can either wear it with the V and the slight scoop at the front, or you could actually wear it back to front and have a slightly higher neck.
We always ask them what size they are. For instance, you might come in and tell me you're a size 4, which is close, but some people that come in that say they're a size 16 and you know they're not a 16, so there's no point in showing them another size because they'll get offended if they haven't told you. So you have to work out, and you can usually judge after, I mean, you know, I'm getting on a bit now. I know roughly what most people's sizes are, and I know what I think, what people want.
So come out, Jennifer, let's have a look. Wow, that is very glamorous, isn't it?
The reason why this jacket is particularly great for curvy girls is that this central panelling, which we've seen all over the catwalk, so this jacket is really great.
Sometimes it's colour. People go for the wrong colour. They want to wear a fashionable colour, but they can't. I know everybody says that teal suits everybody, but not everybody wants teal. That's the difference.
I think the common misconception here that we're trying to dispel is that most women can wear stripes. It's about the proportion of the stripe and where it falls.
That is absolutely gorgeous. So this is your favourite outfit. It does look really, I think it's my favourite on you as well. What is it about it that you like?
I like the long line. I like that it's quite comfortable as well. I think I would never wear a round neck normally, and that's something that I feel freed up to pursue that.
This is your favourite outfit, jacket. It looks fabulous on you. And what is it that you like about it?
It's just so glamorous, so easy to wear. You can wear it on top of anything. I absolutely love this sort of, it's just so flattering.
Have you learnt any new sort of styling tips from your chats with the stylist today?
Yeah, and you try something on, you think, oh, I never wear that, and it looks so different and so good. So you really have to think more in a new way.
What do you think, what stood out the most of these looks and why you chose them?
Well, Lindsay especially. I mean, she's supposed to be sort of like a shy, retiring little person, but once she's got all the makeup on and in the right clothes, I think she looked fabulous. And of course, Jennifer looks fabulous in that as well, very glamorous.
It's all about, you know, being adventurous and trying the things that you might not normally try.
I think we've all had a really good day today and learnt something. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks, Mel.
Loved it. So we've got one of our models here with us this evening, and that's Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
They look like good fun.
It was.
Did you enjoy it?
Very much.
Yeah. Now, going into the shop, because I know maybe like, I think you even mentioned it on the video there, that, you know, sometimes you'll look at something and you think, nah, that's not for me. But then when you actually try it on. So did you have any reservations about what the ladies here picked out for you at first until you tried it on?
Yes.
You did?
Yes. But you can't tell till you try them on. You absolutely can't.
Do you remember which pieces that you maybe...
The spotty one was lovely. It's like a spotty T-shirt and plain black trousers, but they were beautifully cut.
Yeah.
And they really looked very good. And I loved the jacket with the sort of silvery sort of effect, silver grey. And the coat with that glamorous...
I love that coat.
Wasn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yes.
It was funny because you actually said, when you picked it out, you said, oh, I love this, but I can't wear this. This will look awful on me.
You know
why
why?
did you think that?
Because it was slightly sort of shiny. Now, if you are sort of quite big and something is shiny and stretched, it's not flattering at all normally.
Right.
But that was fabulous. It was fabulous.
So Mitch, you know your stuff then?
She does.
You know what kind of...
Yes, yeah, because we'd like to style more, you know, if people sort of knew us a bit better sometimes. But when you go to online shopping, the one drawback with that is that you go for the things that you know you like.
Yeah.
You can't always tell what will suit you unless you go into a smaller shop like mine or another shop which you know you're going to get specialist care, and we know our stock.
Yeah.
And we know what will suit you, we really do. And you might not always agree, but you know, we would always hopefully make you look and feel very nice. But the online shopping is great, you know, if you haven't got the time or anything like that. But you will be able to try on more things if you go to a boutique like mine.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I have to admit, I had the same problem because I have a sponsor for some of the clothes that I wear at the show. And when I go into the shop, when I first went, I was like, they pulled out things, hey, try this on. I'm like, that's not me. That is not my style. I wouldn't look good in that. And then when I started to try things on, I thought, well, actually, it looks quite nice. But I would have never picked that thing out myself.
No.
But now I started to be more adventurous, and even when I go shopping now, I will pick out something that I think, well, maybe I wouldn't normally pick it, but I thought, let me try and see. And it's actually quite nice because I'm sort of experimenting with different kinds of clothing.
It's great to have that sort of external eye as well, because I think people see you differently to the way you see yourselves.
Yeah.
We've all got very set perception of how we think our bodies are and what looks good on us. But actually, if someone comes from the outside that doesn't know you, they can say, oh no, actually you'd really suit that colour, or you should definitely wear this.
So you do need to trust your style.
Yeah, just experiment a bit as well. Yeah. It could, you know, it could look wrong, but it could also look amazing. So I think it's just, you know, having fun.
Yeah. Now, I really like that little jacket that you were wearing, the first one that you came out with. Do you have that in a size as well?
We can get you one.
So I really liked it. I'm like, wow. So these are the kind of things I don't see like in the
Yes. No, it's a very particular style. It's beautiful, and it suited you very well. It looked beautiful.
It's lovely.
Yes.
You could
It's very elegant. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that all that panelling detail that's so in at the moment as well is so glamorous, but so slimming as well. And it's all those little tricks of knowing kind of colour balance and pattern balance, and knowing you know how the placement of them can really affect a whole garment that you might not usually wear, but actually if it's got the right print on, then it will be a great item.
Lovely. So Jennifer, tell us about how you feel about your body type and the journey that you've been on recently.
Well, I think really I started about just over a year ago. I decided I got to take myself in hand and go to fitness classes. And it's no use joining a gym, I find, because you don't go. So I started going to fitness classes and doing different ones, about 5 a week when I had time, with Pilates and kickboxing.
What kept you motivated to go 5 times a week?
Well, my son actually took a job working abroad, so and I'm a widow, so I had a lot of time. I didn't have to cook dinner every evening, so I had time to do it. Because you do need a couple of hours in the evening by the time you get there, etc. But you're with a nice group of people, and it's different exercises, and you start to tone up and you feel better about yourself. Because it's not going to happen unless you do regular exercises. You know, you've got to take yourself in hand and do it.
So would you say you're happy with your body shape?
Well, it's not going to change. I mean, let's put it this way. Basically, we have our body shape. I'm never going to be a little girl because I'm never going to be a little skinny girl ever.
Well, I love your curves. Would you mind standing up and showing the viewers? Because I'm very, very curvaceous and I think it's lovely. Look at that waist. Is that little waist there? So
well, it's little now. Before I started my fitness classes, it wasn't. And I took myself in hand last February to cut down on carbohydrate and fats. And now I've got a shape back. And I feel very happy. And it wouldn't have happened unless I did it. Nothing was going to happen on its own. So you've got to take yourself into hand and really do it, you know?
Okay, lovely. And show us this picture as well. What's that about?
Oh, years and years ago, I was a model and an actress. And this is
model and an actress?
Yes, I'm still an equity member. Long time ago. But I was
this is the kind of shape that women loved in the past, wasn't it? Which I think it's lovely. Can you see?
It's the shape we're bringing back.
Yeah, it is. Look.
Yes, mad is it mad?
See, I'm quite fortunate because my husband he likes some curves. So even if I put a bit of weight, it's fine. He doesn't want me to too slim. But I know obviously there's some people that prefer being slimmer. But I'm quite fortunate like that because I think it's nice. It's nice to have curves. Yes. So tell us a bit more about the stuff that you feature in the magazine. So obviously you've got the fashion stuff, you've got the health and fitness. What other things do you feature?
Well, we see Slink magazine really as being the sort of fashion and lifestyle Bible, as it were, for a woman size 14 plus. So it does fashion and trends. So we take into account what's on the catwalk. We do shopping pages. So we tell you kind of what's in the store, and everything featured in the magazine goes from a size 14 minimum to at least a 22.
Right.
So you kind of, I think there's that really nice thing where the women that buy it know they can open it up and they can actually have the clothes that are there. Because I think what you often get with those glossies is that you open it, you love it, but if you're up above a size 14, 16, you can't actually
that's true.
go out and get it. And that's the sort of depressing side of fashion magazines. All our models are a size 14 plus, so they're all kind of very curvaceous and absolutely gorgeous. It's got recipes, so we don't do diets. So we don't say, oh, in order to lose a few pounds, you have to do this. We do really good seasonal cooking.
Right.
We do travel. We do culture, so things to do at the weekend.
Oh, that's great.
We even do motoring because actually, as a bigger woman, you have to take different things into account. The size of the car, the difference between the seat and the steering wheel, and also looking at it from a more womanly point of view. As opposed to
seat belts. I always find one up. It really is a pain if you've got a bosom. It slides up. It's real pain.
That chokes you.
Yeah, really.
So that's something you could do a feature on.
There we go. That's it. That's my next. It's sorted. And we've also got a really great sort of beauty section. Products. We have a lot of top hairstylists writing comments for us and sort of how-to videos and all of that.
Right. Okay. Well, let's take an email as well from Amelia, from one of our viewers.
Yes, we've got a very confident viewer here. Her name's Laura Smith. She writes, I believe I'm a plus-size woman in a skinny woman world. I'm a size 16 and I love it. Fashion is my thing, and being a plus size has not stopped me from looking good the way I am.
Okay, have we got any more?
Janice shares with us, I've always been smaller, but after I got married, I gained a lot of weight. I and my hubby eat a lot, and it's terrible. He insists I eat with him. I'm now way bigger than I was before, and I feel less attractive. And fitting into clothes is a nightmare.
Maybe you should buy some new clothes, perhaps. Go down to Mitch Clothing and get some stuff. But obviously, if she's not like very happy with her weight, maybe that's a question that we can ask our fitness experts after the break as well.
I think there's a thing though, when you get married, you do tend to stay in more often and eat more.
Yeah,
I think we all did probably.
Or cuddle up on the sofa and stuff.
That, but you know.
Yeah. Okay, so for the women watching that, you know, they are sort of curvier lady and they're not feeling very good about themselves. What advice would you give to them? Start with you, Mitch.
I would say, you know, go out, buy yourself something new, quite honestly. Come and see what's around. If you think that your clothes are getting old, or when you come in you think, yes, I'm out of date, because some of the clothes that come in should be thrown away a long time ago. You know, so I think everybody should have a new outfit, at least 2 outfits every season, you know, to keep yourself fresher and more modern, and you will feel much better. I really do believe that.
Okay, how about you?
I think if you're unhappy, and we were discussing this, it's something that comes from yourself. So if you're unhappy with your body shape and you want to change it, do something about it as well. You know, I think, and that, you know, take some positive steps. But I definitely agree with Mitch. You know, don't just think, oh, I'm a size 16 plus, I can't look nice in anything. You know, you can. I think by feeling good, you'll feel more motivated. So, you know, don't stop going out, don't stop buying clothes, just experiment a bit more, and also learn to love your new body, because you might not be able to shift the weight, and therefore you have to learn to live and love with what you've got.
Because it is harder the older you are to lose the weight, so it is a job.
Okay, and how about you, Jennifer? What would you say to our viewers?
I think you have to have clothes that suit you, you feel happy in. You've really got to feel happy, and they've got to be comfortable. You know, you don't want really tight clothes, but you want clothes which they do something for you. You should never buy anything unless it really does something for you. And then you'll feel good and feel happier, and QED really.
Okay, so there you have it. You've heard it from our guest this evening. You can look lovely and be a plus size as well. And like I said, there's lots and lots of lovely clothes out there today. Like they didn't have that when I was a 16 plus. So, oh, I wish I had that. No, I'd really like the clothes. So, you know, actually maybe it's worth putting on weight so I can
maybe you should.
shopping. That's a good excuse for me to eat more than I normally do. All right, well, thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. Thank you for all the advice and everything. And after the break, our 2 fitness experts will be with us, and they'll be giving some demonstrations of some exercises as well, and lots of lovely things as well. So join us after this break. Welcome back. So joining me now, I have my 2 favourite fitness experts, and that's Jane Rafter and Ben Wilson. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Thanks. Lovely seeing you again.
And you. Good to be here.
So you've been watching, obviously, the rest of the show that we've had so far. Now, is it really possible to be a plus size and be fit and healthy? Who wants to answer?
That's a very big question, isn't it, Ben? Definitely you can. Definitely you can. I think that there is a myth that if you are larger, that you're unfit. And I think that's really irritating for ladies who are larger, who are obviously fit and go to the gym and exercise and have a healthy lifestyle. I mean, there's a limit, isn't there? You know, if you've got a lot of body fat, you might be able to still do your spinning class and be fit, but ultimately you've still got fat around your vital organs, which is not healthy.
Right.
So I think there's a limit. But we're definitely not saying that fitness is associated with being skinny, slim, necessarily.
How could you know then? How do you know if like you're a healthy sort of weight or not? If there is fat around like the vital organs? What do you
I was saying this before with my clients. I just say forget weight pretty much. You know, you're talking about body fat for most clients. They want to get in shape. Weight will be where it is. So if you're looking at clothes, that's the easiest thing you could look at. Just talking before, you know. That's what I was talking about backstage as well. Everything's very relative. So there's always going to be somebody who's in better shape than you, always going to be somebody who's in worse shape of you. So it's not really where you are, but where do you want to get to? Where do you want to be? That's the sort of question. So if I'm size 22 and I want to be size 20, then you can measure that through clothes. So going on the scales, which will just drive people crazy, because I've seen people lose 2-3% body fat in a week, but the scales haven't changed. So.
Oh yeah, please tell us about that. That's so. How does that all work? Because I know friends that are trying to lose weight, and they're always like they're doing a lot of exercise, and then they're complaining, saying, I'm not losing anything. What's going on? I'm weighing myself, and the scales are the same. Why is that? And how can you motivate yourself when you've been working so hard?
Muscle weighs more than fat, in terms of volume. So if you had, you know, that much of fat and that much of muscle in terms of volume, muscle weighs more.
Right.
So that can be a bit deceiving. But you know, ultimately, if you do stand on the scales and it's extremely heavy, it's probably not that you've got lots and lots of muscle. It probably isn't. But it can make a bit of a difference, can't it?
But weight's a very poor short-term indicator, because if you went out and ate lots of carbohydrates today, your muscle will store it, drink lots of water. You can add 2-3 kilograms, you know, within days. This is what boxers do before fights. They don't drink, you know, don't eat, and then they lose, you know, half a stone to what they do. So you can, you know, trick yourself all day long by measuring
when I weigh,
it
because
day in, day out.
sometimes I weigh myself every day, and there's sometimes that I'm like 2 pounds more, and then the next day I'm like 2 pounds less, and I'm thinking, what's going on? Because I haven't sort of done much, you know, I've been pigged out a little bit, but
it's all sorts. It could be all sorts.
But you know, I've had lots of clients who've got amazing results, but I think hardly any of them ever achieved that goal weight they said when they phone you up. You know, because they often have unrealistic stuff. You know, because when you were 18, you were 75 kilograms. Doesn't mean now when you're 35, even when you are the body shape you want to be, will you be that 75? But people don't care about weight ultimately. If you're in that dress, if you're in that suit, you're happy, and you don't care whether you're 70 or 80. I have to admit, I do still kind of like I do look at the scales, because, and this is another question I wanted to ask you both actually, because I always seem to get stuck at a certain weight. I've tried to, which is like around 10 stone. So, and I try to, anytime I try to go below, I might go on a diet and I'll go below 10 stone, but within like a week, it's like back to that sort of 10 stone 2, and I seem to just settle at that weight, and I can't seem to get to like settle at anything less. Do you know why? Is that just like my ideal body weight, do you think? This is what you got to just take into looking at what body fat's about, and then looking at, we talked on different shows I've been on before, different protocols to take it to the next level. So whatever protocol you're following is getting you to that level. So whether you try different nutrition plans, different exercise sessions, working on your mindset and motivation so you stick to it better, they're all possible avenues for you to explore to see if that takes you to that next sort of level. And this is where weight comes a problem. Unless you know your body fat, you don't really know where your weight should be. And this is the sort of thing, and it causes a lot of trouble for clients. I'm sure you've seen it with your clients getting a lot of
I think women do always know what they weigh, usually know what they weigh, and they are interested in weight. And at the end of the day, it is a good general guide as to whether you are losing weight or not, and you probably are losing body fat if you are losing weight. And in answer to your question earlier about healthy weights, there is the body mass index calculator, and if you Google it, there's some great websites where you just put your measurements in. And although we were saying there is a warning about this, that it is an average of an average, and you have to bear that in mind. But if you wanted to work out your own, you take your weight in kilograms and divide it by your height in meters, and divide it by your height in meters again. And it should come out somewhere between 18.5 and 25. And if it's more than that, you're overweight, and if it's less than that, you're underweight. So
I have no idea what mine is. That's terrible, isn't it?
You could work it out. You could work it out. But if you're 5'2" and you're 8 stone, you're in a healthy weight zone. But if you're 5'6" and you're 8 stone, you're underweight. So the weight isn't everything, is it? So you can't sit next to your mate and say, well, I'm 8 stone, well, I'm 9 stone. It's not relevant unless you factor in all the other things like your height as well, and your body fat ratio. But if you were interested in, you know, what yours was in terms of health, it's a good thing to just check out. But I agree with Ben that, you know, it's not the end of the story. You've got to look at what's right for you, what jeans do you want to wear, at what point do you feel comfortable for yourself, and have a realistic goal for yourself. Okay, that's really important.
Any one measure can always go wrong, you know. So if you're going to set on the scales, why don't you just try on a particular pair of jeans every week? Note it first week, can only get to here. Week 2, you can just do different clothes, just as easy to do. Yeah, if you do proper body fat testing, then that's even more accurate. But you don't need to do that. Clothes are going to tell you that. They will, so why would you just, because, you know, if you jump on a different pair of scales, you could be, you know, the scales in the gym, the scales in the house, some are more favourable than others. So
normally the gym ones are less forgiving, aren't they, than the house ones. Okay, in terms of exercises, because I know obviously, you know, you get a lot of clients. Do you have to do different exercises, for example, if someone's over a certain size?
Yeah, I think that is a relevant question, because if you've got somebody who's not used to exercising and they're overweight, and they suddenly start doing some high intensity exercises, they're going to get injured. They're going to hurt their knee, they're going to hurt their back, is the most likely places. So it's really important that you start with a sensible regime of low impact exercises. You do definitely want to get the heart rate up. Definitely.
What kind of classes then would you recommend?
I mean, you could go to any class. I mean, Zumba or circuit classes or aerobics, but keep it at a low level. So at all times, have one foot on the floor at all times, so you're never jumping around, and be controlled. And when you go to your first class, I always say to brand new people, 50% effort today, and next week would take it up. So don't kill yourself on the first week, because you won't be able to get out of bed tomorrow, and that's not a good way to start. So take it slow, be sensible, and you have to test your body, don't you, and see how your body reacts and how it copes. And the last thing you want to do is go mad and end up with an injury, and then you'll just not want to exercise ever again.
Great point though, you've got to sort of earn the right to push it. What everybody does, they watch like Celebrity Fit Club where some guy's shouting, making them cry, and think, right, that's exercise. But you know, for a new person, you've not exercised for years or never in your life.
It'll put you off for life, wouldn't it?
Exactly, of course it would. I wouldn't do a session like that. So, you know, it might take you 1 to 2 months before you can really push it hard. But if you're going to be doing this for months to years, what's the rush? Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
And that's the thing. And, you know, like I say, I'm sure we work with lots of different clients. You know, the size, some people can be very strong in their joints and then they can handle a lot more. Other people, and again, not even, you know, 8 stone people can have really poor, weak joints. So you have to go a lot softer with them. I think weight and fitness aren't necessarily related. Just because you're not overweight doesn't mean you're going to be fit, and vice versa. Okay.
So we have an exercise mat here, Jane. So you're going to demonstrate a few little exercises.
Yeah.
I should have really put a tracksuit on, but I didn't. Again, maybe next time I have a fitness shot, I will join in with you.
Get you to do it with me, definitely.
So let's take a look. What exercise are you going to show us?
Well, what I thought I'd show you is some exercises that help improve the muscle tone in your shoulders and the strength in your arms. Because a lot of women complain about hating their arms, right? No matter what size you are and what weight you are, a lot of women hate their arms. So I think if you can do some exercises.
You've got lovely arms.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I'm going to show you what I spend a lot of time doing, using natural body weight to increase the strength in the muscles. So you don't need any equipment or anything. You can just get on the floor and do this. Okay. So this is a variation on a press up. So a traditional press up works the chest. So this exercise works your tricep, the back of the arm, and the shoulders. Okay. Also the tummy a little bit. So it's a good test of how your strength is as well. So have I got music?
Oh, where's the music come from? Now you're going to have to do it.
It is like a Zumba class.
So I'm going to start. Can you see I've got my hands underneath my shoulders?
Yes.
And I'm not going to let my bum stick up. I've tucked my bottom underneath, and I'm going to take my chest down to the floor. Now, if you get to here and you can't hold yourself anymore, drop your hips.
Right, okay.
And lower yourself down. But as you build up strength, you'll be able to take your chest down like this.
Right.
And when you get even stronger, you can lift the knees and you can lower yourself down like this. Same thing coming up.
Okay.
Here to here. So that's different to the sort of traditional press up where you go like this.
That works more your chest then?
Yes,
yeah.
That's more chest and shoulders.
But the other way, the way that you just showed us, does that help your chest as well, though, if you want to like tone or more?
Less chest, more shoulders,
okay.
triceps. This is the bit. This is the bit. Right. So you're taking your body weight into that area and pushing it up. Can you see how narrow the elbows are to the body? Yeah. So they stay close all the time.
Okay.
So if you did some of those every day, 3 sets of 8 to 10 every day, you'll start to see some difference.
Have arms like yours? Okay.
I can show you another exercise that strengthens your tummy.
Yeah.
So obviously the stronger your tummy muscles are, the tighter it's going to look. If you've got body fat sitting on top, then that's another issue that you need to tackle. But I can show you how to flatten and tighten your tummy muscles.
Yes, please.
And at the same time, work on the shoulders. So if you do a traditional sit-up, you're just doing this area.
Right.
If you do it like this, you're also working on your shoulders.
Oh, okay.
Right? So if you take this position, it's quite an advanced exercise, I ought to say that. It's not easy. And you bring one knee into the chest and squeeze into the tummy and push back. And the other knee into the chest and squeeze. So can you see that my back is just slightly curving?
Yeah.
That's me really squeezing into the tummy, rounding at the back and squeezing it. And I can really, really feel that here.
Okay.
And
you're getting your arms up.
Yeah. So
in one, that's great.
You're getting it all in one, exactly.
Okay.
So that's quite hard. So if you wanted an easier abdominal exercise, you can come on all fours and tuck your toes under and pull in here. And this also gets your shoulders as well.
Right.
And hover your knees, and you'll be surprised how hard that is.
I've never seen that one before. Wow.
Have you seen this one, Ben?
Locking up for now, huh?
You just hover your knees and
Wow.
hold on.
Oh,
Can
I'm
you see
gonna
how my
try
back
that one.
doesn't move?
Yeah.
So don't curve the back, keep it straight and just lift.
I'm definitely going to try that one when I
I'll
get
try
home.
that
And that
later.
gets your
You're gonna try
Not
it?
in these shoes.
And your tummy. So what you do is you pull in first
Right.
and then
It's
brace
nice
it
because you're
in.
so used to seeing sort of sit-ups being done like this, and like maybe if
Yeah.
you've got back problems, it's not really realistic. But those are great to do.
Yeah, and they get your deeper tummy muscles working as well, rather than just the superficial muscles up there.
That's lovely. Thank you so much, Jade.
Okay.
Thank you. So now tell me about this is a common question that that me and my friends kind of argue about sometimes, is about weight training when you are overweight and you're trying to lose weight. Now, when I was overweight, all I did was weight training and a bit of aerobic stuff as well. And I lost the weight just through that, not even like sort of cutting down on my food really. In fact, I was eating probably about the same or maybe more because I used to get really hungry after weight training. But I lost the weight, but some people are afraid of actually doing weight training because they think I'm going to bulk up and I'm big already and then I'm going to get these huge muscles. What would you say to them, Ben?
Well, in fat loss
Please
terms,
dispel the myth.
Yeah, in fat loss terms, then there's basically three camps. There's the camp where people in the traditional sense, where you got to do lots of running, cardio, but that's probably the minority, I would say. Most people do better on a bit of a mixture of more high intensity interval type fitness and weight training. But other people, and myself included, if I wanted to strip down body fat wise, drop all cardio, you've said the same sort of thing yourself, just focus on the weights and then it'll help you get that body fat term. So it accelerates things in this sense. And I think Jane's always arguing about what happens with bulky muscles.
Yes. Because don't you find, Ben, that a lot of ladies are frightened of working with weights? They think that they're going to get big in the arms. Now, the truth is it's really, really difficult to increase the size of your body through weight training. It's not going to happen. In fact, working with weights strengthens your muscles, but it burns body fat, so you're more likely to shrink your arms than get them bigger. You won't get bigger arms by working with weights. And there's a lot of research to show that's true.
And I work with a lot of guys, so you wouldn't see how hard it is for guys who want to put on muscle. They can't do it for the diet, so they're training an hour a day and they're struggling. Most women aren't lifting weights an hour a day and so forth, so it takes a lot of work to build muscle.
And it depends how you work with the weights, doesn't it? Because the guys are going to probably go heavier with the weights. And, I encourage ladies to work, to try and take 3 or 4 kilogram hand weights rather than just the little pencil weights. Because you might as well.
I was pushing quite heavy weights, actually.
Were you?
But it just, honestly, the weight just dropped off so fast. It was unbelievable. After years of trying to diet, it just all dropped off.
And the other amazing thing about working with weights, and actually the type of exercise I showed you has a similar effect. If your muscles are stronger and your muscles are more dense, that raises your metabolic rate.
Yes.
So even while you're asleep, you burn more calories than someone who's got weak muscles.
Oh my
so
gosh.
That's really good. There you go.
Well, what do you want? So get weight training. It's great when the weight's actually combined with the fitness class as well, because then it's more motivating, obviously.
Exactly.
We've run out of time. I was going to say we've run out of weight, sorry. We've run out of time on the show. So thank you so much, guys. And I do hope you join us again on a future programme, because you're my favourite experts, as I said. Okay, that's it on the Chrissy B show for today. So if I want to leave with anything tonight, is that please do be confident, even if you are you're not the size that you want to be at the moment, but do make the most of your looks. There's lots of lovely clothes out there. You make the effort with your makeup, with your hair. Do the best that you can, because that actually will bring confidence and maybe even encourage you to keep set to your fitness goals as well. So I know our regular viewers may be expecting Chris Brown, but sadly he can't be with us today because he did have a bit of an emergency, but he should be back again with us next week as usual with his professional development slot. So Chris, we do miss you and we'll see you again next week, but that's all we've got time for today. Do join me again on Friday and we'll be dedicating the show to children with special needs and have lots of lovely things on the show on Friday for you. Thanks for watching and bye-bye for now.
We're laughing at someone else's demise. That's